It's officially time for the April 2021 Q&A, and it is late, but better late than never, right? Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So, the April 2021 Q&A is finally here. I do apologize for it being so late, but hey, you know what? It's finally here. You asked the questions, and I've got the answers to them. Also, get ready for next month's Q&A, because that one's going to be very special. So, you'll see why when we get there. But I just want to thank you all for the questions, as always. Greatly appreciated. I do enjoy answering your questions. And if you have any for the May Q&A, please leave them down below. If there's any I may have forgotten, I will definitely get to them for the next Q&A. So, I want to thank you all for your patience during this time. It's finally here. So let's go ahead and get started, starting off with the YouTube questions. So first, Crash Bash asks, how do you write your stories? I like to either have the protagonist be a terrible person, like Kame or Drakengard, or have an antagonist with good intentions, like Soldius from Metal Gear Solid 2. So how I write stories, this is an interesting one. What I typically do is I will think out like the characters and like what their traits are, like what their personalities are like, right? I think about like their hobbies. I think about what abilities or powers would probably even suit them. Also, I always write my ending first before I write my beginning, so I know how to connect the dots together. Because like your ending is your end goal, right? Most important thing is I think is with that, having that ending in mind. Then you know how to start the pace up to getting it to that point. So I typically write my ending first, and then I try to add it all up to that ending, so that there's no inconsistencies, because you don't want to be inconsistent with your story. So basically, what you want to do is you really want to try to, just connect the dots from that point on and make it work. Make the ending as good as possible for that story, and then have everything line up with it. That's typically what I do. But yeah, good question, man. So, Brandy Miller asks, Aku versus Bill Cipher. That's a tough one because they both have very similar abilities. I'd probably have to say overall Aku would win. But, I mean, I think that would be a really good match between the two. Because Aku from Samurai Jack, you saw how good he was. Then again, Bill Cipher as well. So, like, I think that overall Aku would win. But yeah, I gotta go Aku. That's just me. What video games crossovers would you like to see? You know what I would actually like to see? This is just me. I would love to see an actual, like, legit Pokemon Fire Emblem crossover. Reason why is because, one time we did have Pokemon Conquest, which, fun game by the way, which was like in the style of Fire Emblem. But, it wasn't Fire Emblem, it was basically Pokemon Universe, but like, could you imagine like trainers having like their own Pokemon, and then like Fire Emblem characters at the same time? I think that'd be kind of a cool crossover that I'd like to see personally. And also just seeing like Fire Emblem characters, like whatever their like main Pokemon would be really cool. Like I'd like to see some characters have like some of their main Pokemon. Like it makes me interested in knowing like what Tharsha or like Lucina or Robin's like main Pokemon would be, or Roy, or Elowood, or Lindis. Like I would love to see that actually. Like that would be really cool. But yeah, that's just me. Fate series girls versus Ainz. Oh, I don't know. I mean, yeah, you have many characters in Fate, but like with what Ainz can do with all the summoning he can do, like with dragons and giants and like all these other creatures he can summon, summoning the dead to fight for him. Also his favorite ability, which is Grasp Heart, where it's an instant death. Like if he does it right, he grabs the opponent's heart, and if they try to struggle, it just stuns them, and they just still die. Like I probably have to give it to Ainz, honestly. Like Ainz would probably beat all the Fate series girls. Like probably because I mean he's overpowered. Like so, I got to give it to Ainz. Have you seen Redo of Healer yet? If you have, what do you think of it? Yes, I have seen Redo of Healer. In fact, I've read fan subs of it. So like I'm a little further than what the anime was, and God, it's so good in my opinion. Like, I mean, I know that not everybody's going to be into it, but like I actually really enjoy the series itself. I actually enjoy the idea of a main character, having the abilities of healing, which is, usually healing is just kind of healing. It's not really too overpowered. But, like, seeing how he can just, like, reset things back to the roots of when it started, I mean, is really good. And then what he does to Flare was awesome. Because I was like, man, I was like, the revenge on her. Like, yeah, he deserves to get revenge on her. But, like, I thought it was really interesting also to see, like, a character that went from a healer to having, like, all this power. It's like, kind of shows that sometimes even power can corrupt even, like, some people that are just weak. But some power can also go to others that can be used for good things. But him getting revenge on the people, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I can see why he does it. Same time, there are a few inconsistencies, like how he's supposed to feel the pain that other people feel, like whenever he's healing them. Like whenever he's breaking Flare's fingers, I would imagine that he would have felt that too, but apparently I guess they forgot that maybe. I don't know. But I still really like it. I still think it's very good. I mean, I would recommend it. I mean, I would. That's just me. I recommend it to people. I think it's great. I think it gets unnecessary hate. Um, and I mean, like I said, I think that, if it's a series you would be into, yeah, definitely go check it out. I highly recommend it to people. I think it's a great series personally. I really enjoy it, but, that's just me. But yeah, good questions. Duke Nuka-Cola asks, Hi Draco, I've been following and watching your content for a month as of now, and I'm really liking it. Keep up the good work, man. Hey, I appreciate it. I'm glad that you like it, and hope everybody else does too. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. And, without all of you, this channel would be nothing, so I appreciate all of you. So thank you very much. Now, time for the questions. Who are 10 of your favorite villains of all time? Now, this is a very interesting question. So one of them would definitely be Vector from Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. I always loved his character because he was such a troll. That was one of the best parts, like, when he tricked Yuma, disguising himself as Ray and then faking Ray's death, and it turns out to be him. Like, I love that scene. Just the way he tricked him and how he's just trolling him. That was one of my all-time favorite scenes. And just, he was also a tragic villain, if you know his story. But Vector, I mean, he had an everlasting impact on me, and I love his character. Another one would be Yoshikage Kira, because this guy, like, he just wanted to live a normal life, just wanted to have an okay life, except for the fact that he was a serial killer. But, he was a great character. His stand, also Killer Queen, was really great. Like, one of my favorite stands, because, this stand, just being able to blow up everything, like, Yoshikage Kira always had good luck, and to have a stand that could help him just erase evidence of killing anybody was great. And then, of course, when he got Bites the Dust, and having a loop that when anybody discovers his identity, they just die and it goes back. Like, I mean, Yoshikage Kira is great. Also, I like Greed from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Like, Greed was one of my favorite homunculus in general, but he was just one of my favorite characters, period. And of course, he rebelled against Father, and then got punished for it, and then was revived again inside of Ling. And then it turns out that, while he was greedy, he really wanted friends. And I think his redemption was so good. Like, I loved Greed. Greed is one of my favorite parts in all of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood in general, and also the shades that he has. I actually have those. I mean, like, fantastic shades. Like, I actually have shades just like him. Also, Dio, because out of antagonists, I couldn't have one without Dio. Like, Dio is one of my all-time favorite villains in just fiction, period, because Dio's a character that he gave up his own humanity, which was Jonathan with humanity fighting against, someone who gave up their humanity. Of course, you see his villainy mature between part 1 to part 3, and then, of course, when Dio absorbs Joseph's blood, then, he goes back to kind of being like part 1 Dio in a sense, but Dio's plan to heaven as well is great. Like I said, I love Dio. He's such a great and memorable villain. Also, one from DC would actually be Darkseid. This man would make you want death. He would make you crave to die. But instead, he'd leave you alive. He would torture you. Like, Darkseid coming to your world meant enslavement. That's basically what it was. Darkseid was a true terror. Not only that, the one thing I always remember about Darkseid was he beat Superman. Like, their first fight, he beat Superman. And, I mean, he didn't have kryptonite or anything like that. Like, he just beat Superman. And that's something that not just anybody could do. Like, it's not easy to just beat Superman. Like, he came in and he just took down the person that is seen as the god, as the hero. I mean, Darkseid was insane. Another one, I really love Carnage. Like, he is the most iconic villain to me in all of Spider-Man. And he's just chaotic. That's the whole point of him. He's just a chaotic, evil character. And I just love how destructive he is as a villain. Carnage is just brilliant. I also love his design. He looks fantastic. Thanos is also another one of my favorite Marvel villains. I mean, I actually kind of liked the comics villain Thanos more than the one from the movies. Now, that may sound like it's really shocking because, I mean, he had a pretty good point, like his whole plot to what he was doing. But, like, in the comics, I kind of liked how he was trying to just kill everybody for Lady Death. That was actually what he was doing. It was to get Death's approval. That's why he did it. He did it so that he could be with her. I kind of like that a lot more. But, you know, that's just me. But you know how comics are. Now, the other one. God, I hate this guy, but I love to hate him, which is Lucio Rare-Groove. I love to hate this guy. Like, he is one of the best villains, I think, ever. I mean, Hiro Mashima, who made Fairy Tail, you know, his first series, which was Rave. God, he made such an excellent villain, and I'm serious. I hated Lucius so much. He wanted to get rid of the world because it was a false world, so he created his own. He was the complete foil to Haru's character. Like, this guy was a brilliant villain, and oh, he's so good because he just makes you hate him, but you love to hate him. Another one is Funny Valentine from JoJo Part 7. Now, I'm not going to spoil Part 7 for those who haven't read it, but this character, like, Steel Ball Run is so good. And Funny Valentine, like, he's a villain that's so good that I'm serious. I rooted for him. I mean, seriously, the guy was so good. I rooted for him. I wanted him to win. I'm serious. I'm not kidding. I rooted for Funny Valentine because he was so good. His ideology was fantastic, and Araki just proves how great he is. And speaking of mangaka that are geniuses, yeah, Yoshihiro Togashi always gets me. You know, he made Yu Yu Hakusho, and he also made Hunter x Hunter. And Meruem. Meruem is such a fantastic character. Like, this villain is just excellent to me in every regard. Like, he goes from being like this monster to actually being one of the most human characters in the series. I love his character. The fight that he also had with Netero was brilliant. Like, I love Meruem. Like, the Chimera Ant arc is, in my opinion, one of the best arcs ever. Like, Meruem is absolutely fantastic. So, with RWBY Volume 8 over, which volume would you consider the worst one? It's between Volume 7 and 8. I hate them both. Like, Volume 5 was terrible. It was awful. But, like, even Volume 5 did things that were better than Volume 7 and 8. Like, Volume 7 and 8 were nothing but political piles of trash. Like, you want to talk about shit. They were absolute garbage. And I hate them so much. Like, it's really, really bad when a volume is universally hated by most people, which is Volume 5. It's really bad that it tries to tell Weiss's story, her backstory, better than Volume 7 or 8 combined, which didn't even make an effort to do so. Like, that's horrible. I mean, yeah, it only tells you, it doesn't show you, but that's really bad when that volume, as bad as it is still better than Volume 7 and 8, and it still tries to tell Weiss's backstory better than what Volume 7 or 8 even tried to do, which it didn't even make the effort to do that. Like, because the part when Weiss is talking to Yang, she tells her that her own father, on her 10th birthday, told her mother that he never loved her, and that he just married into the family just for the Shinida's company, apparently from what Weiss says. And this is a big problem with the show itself, is that, it, doesn't show the backstory, it just tells you, which we need to see it. We need to see that rather than just be told. But, yeah, it's pretty bad when Volume 5 makes more of an effort to tell a character's backstory than even Volume 7 or 8, whenever that's supposed to be the arc that's supposed to be centered around that character. I mean, that's pretty pathetic. Like, it's really bad. Especially when the writers were like, well, we can't have Atlas without Weiss. You did. Like, you had, like, Atlas without Weiss being important at all. Like, it was nothing but Orange Man bad and Antifa. It was trash. It was a horrible, horrible story that they told in Volume 7 and Volume 8. Like, just garbage. It's laughably bad. And Volume 6 is terrible in itself, because, like, the Ozpin Salem backstory, to me, to this very day, is one of the worst, most abysmal piles of trash that they ever came up with. But also, what they did to Adam was just disrespectful. And I hate what they did to Adam. But even Volume 6, I can at least say I got one bit of satisfaction out of it, which was the Neo and Cinder fight. Like, that's the best fight post-Volume 3. Like, everything else is pretty bland and terrible, but that's, like, the best fight post-Volume 3. But yeah, to me, Volume 7 and 8 are just the worst. Like, they tie for being the worst. Because Volume 7, like I said, it's nothing but politics. It's Orange Man bad Antifa. And then Volume 8 is basically just down with America. It's disgusting. Like, these writers are not writers. They're just hack activists. They're terrible, disgusting people. They really are. So who are your cartoon fictional crushes slash waifus? Now, the ones I liked was April O'Neil from the 1987 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, oh, she was a great character, and you want to talk about a good supporting role. Like, she really was. She was a good supporting role to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And, you know, she got involved in the action sometimes. I mean, she was cool. I liked April O'Neil. And then also Jessica Rabbit from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Like, oh, I think many people could probably say that Jessica Rabbit was their favorite. Because, man, gotta say, like, if you've seen that film, fantastic waifu, in my opinion, for a cartoon waifu. Like, oh, very good, very very beautiful. Lucky Rabbit getting a woman like that, man. Oh, very lucky. So who is your favorite JoJo side antagonist? Now, this is more like a boss before the final boss, which would be Vanilla Ice. Like, he was a character that was a real challenge for Polnareff to take on because, you know, Abdal and Iggy died to him. Like, he took them out. And his stand, Kareem, was insane. And then Polnareff, of course, in the end, figured out that he was a vampire and then tricked him into, you know, getting killed by the sun. But still, like, Vanilla Ice was truly a great character for a boss before the final boss, in my opinion. Who are your video game waifus? Oh boy, I got tons of them. Sometimes my opinion changes on like favorites, but I'll go over them. So Chun-Li from Street Fighter. I really do like Chun-Li. Street Fighter, like, I loved that arcade game. Like, I would go and play that at, like, the skating rink that I'd have, like, near where I lived. And, so that's Street Fighter 2 is the arcade I'd play it. And if there's one thing that Chun-Li taught me is, thick thighs save lives. Ryza from Atelier Ryza. Like, I love the Atelier series. And Ryza from Atelier Ryza and Atelier Ryza 2, a good character. I love how she's kind of like a tomboyish character, and she was really good. And also, you know, I hope that they never censor the game. They've talked about it. I hope that never happens. Really hope it never does. Zheng Hua from the Soul Calibur series. So now, some of you may know I am a big Soul Calibur fan, and one of my favorite characters is Zheng Hua. I've always liked her in Soul Calibur. She's always been one of my favorite characters. I mean, like, I love her bubbly personality. I mean, she's just adorable, and her fighting style kind of being like a dancer. It's really cool. I also like Taki. I mean, like, who doesn't like Taki? I mean, I'll be real with you. There's been one thing that I've been wanting to get. Like, I wasn't able to get, like, back in the day, but they have a statue of her from Soul Calibur 2 that I wanted to buy, and it's like over $1,000 now. Like, oh, but yeah, Taki, great character. Love her fighting style, very close range. Cassandra, you know, a lot of people like Sophidia, but I'm more of a Cassandra fan. Now, I do like Sophidia a lot, but her younger sister Cassandra, I think, is the cooler one, in my opinion. Really like her, and her style to me in Soul Calibur 6 is just fun. Like, I love playing Cassandra. I don't know, there's just something about it they've done with it that just made it good. Like, so much better than before. Like, love it. So Anne from Persona 5, she's definitely a waifu in that game, in my opinion. And let's not forget the beach, because the beach scenes are good. but yeah, definitely like Anne. And also Android 21 from Dragon Ball Fighters. I love her character. Like, to find out that she was modeled off of Jiro's own wife. Man, Jiro, like, he modeled 16 after his son, who had died. And then, 21 after his own wife. Like, seriously, the man, whoa, he must have been a Chad, like, back in the day. Because, I mean, he is one of the most brilliant minds, and then 21 also is one of the most brilliant minds. Gotta love 21. Mai Shiranui from the Fatal Fury series. Now, I remember she came in Fatal Fury 2, and boy, did I love her. Like, the moment I saw her character, used her, and just thought that she was so much fun to play as. And then, of course, her in Dead or Alive. That's also good, too. Love seeing her in that franchise as well. Another one would be Aqua from Kingdom Hearts. Now, I've always liked Aqua. I thought she was, personally, in my opinion, one of the best characters in the entire game as well. So, definitely a fan of Aqua. Also, gotta go with Sei from Persona 5. Like, whoa, she is a bombshell. Not only is she attractive, but the one thing that is actually coded within the game that they never did, though, was apparently there's an option to actually romance her, but they never had it in the game, which is very unfortunate. And man, this is the one I would have wanted to romance the most in that game. That's just me, though. So, Ophelia Dusk from Fire Emblem Fates. I really like her because she's just like her dad in personality, where she's kind of goofy, like he is, because he's a complete goofball. Like how her book that she uses called the Mistletoe, which is basically a reference to his weapon in Fire Emblem Awakening that he called his blade. And I love that DLC, but too bad we never got it. Like, Japan got it only, and we didn't. I would have loved it. Tifa Lockhart as well. Seriously, Tifa has embedded herself into pop culture. Like, I don't think that I could actually have a list without Tifa on it, because Tifa is such an iconic character, but also one of the best characters, in my opinion, in the Final Fantasy franchise. Mitsuru from Persona 3, I'm going to tell you right now, she is my favorite waifu in all of Persona, period. Like, I mean, to me, she is the best girl. And, oh, God, I love Mitsuru. Like, 100%. Like, big time. Big fan of the character. And she's a great character in Persona 3. Also, Tharja or Tharia, however you want to pronounce it, from Fire Emblem Awakening. Definitely love her character. Love how she actually just likes your character so much she stalks you. I mean, she obsesses over you. But she's a great character, too. And the interactions that she has with your character, as well as many others, great. I mean, it's fantastic. Camilla from Fire Emblem Fates, another one that I really loved. I mean, she is such an overpowered unit in the game, first off. Like, you get her so very early, and she's just so strong throughout the game. And besides, I love the DLC with her in a bikini. That was great. It was great. But yeah, Camilla is an excellent character. Palutena, I love this trolley goddess. Like, she is so fun. Like, she has a fun personality, and I love how she just, like I said, she trolls people. Like, I love it. I love how she trolls Pit all the time. It's hilarious. Like, she is good, both comically and also appearance-wise. But also Pyra and Mithra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. God, I love them both because they are so night and day to each other with their personalities. Like, you have Pyra, who's open to, just being kind, and then you have Mithra, who's a tsundere, which, God, I love Mithra a lot. I have a problem. But Dorothea, also from Fire Emblem Three Houses, I think she was actually one of the best characters in that game. And her story, like, I actually liked her backstory too. Like, I kind of feel for Dorothea, but she is I think the best waifu in that game, besides another one, which we'll talk about in a moment. But Cordelia from Fire Emblem Awakening. There's a lot of Fire Emblem characters on this list because I am a big Fire Emblem fan. But Cordelia, who is basically the perfectionist herself, and I would probably say probably the perfect wife. Like, like this character, I love her. I feel bad for her trying to go after Chrom, and he just never notices her. That's a notice me senpai moment. And then Lusamine, like Lusamine for Pokemon. Just, I have an unhealthy love for this character. Like, she is one that obviously definitely is Mother of the Year, if you know what I mean. She's not really, but I'll tell you, she's one that definitely earns my love. I'll tell you that. It's not like there's a lot of stuff that goes on there or anything. I mean, just don't worry about it. Nothing that goes on there. But Byleth also is a character that I really like from Fire Emblem, but she's the other waifu I'd say. Like, I mean, of course, it's basically supposed to be yourself playing as the character. That's why there's not really much in terms of personality. But still, I like Byleth, and her story was interesting. I mean, there have been some kind of weaker stories of Fire Emblem as of late, though, after Awakening. But I still did like Three Houses for what it was, and Byleth too. Cynthia. It's not really hard for me to say. Cynthia is my favorite character in all of Pokemon, period. The greatest challenge I think that anybody's ever faced as well. She is the best champion. Also having Garchomp. Oh, I love Garchomp too. That is like my favorite Pokemon besides Charizard. But yes, Cynthia. I unhealthy obsession with this character. I love Cynthia too. Also, Lucina, I think, is the best to me in terms of waifus in all of Fire Emblem. Like, I love this character. I loved her from the moment that she came into the game and Awakening, which she comes in at the beginning, of course. But oh man, like Lucina to me is like my dream woman. She's like the ideal woman to have. Like, God, her personality, she's so good. I just, like I said, love her character. I really do. And that bridal DLC for Warriors, they knew what they were doing. They knew they knew what they were doing. But if you were a villain, in which universe would you want to be? Um, I would probably want to be in the JoJo universe. I'd probably have a stand, and I'd probably call it Through Fire and Flame or Fire and Flame. That's what I'd probably call it. And it would probably be like an ability that reduces the power of anybody that gets hit by my flames that come from the stand. And then also grants me their strength, like, more power. And then if I were to have like a Requiem stand, it would be like Through Fire and Flames Requiem, which would grant me immortality. Now, of course, it's JoJo. You could probably get around it somehow, obviously, but you get what I mean. It would be something. That would be great to be a villain in JoJo. I'd work on what my ideology for that world would be, but yeah, it'd be something. It'd be interesting. But yeah, good questions, man. Christopher Capers Jones asks, what are your thoughts on RWBY After the Fall and Before the Dawn? There were a lot of characters I feel like they screwed up with, like Team Indigo. I can't remember which characters it was of Team Indigo, but there was one that was willing to like sacrifice others just so they'd survive. Like that was messed up. I can't remember if that was Before the Dawn or After the Fall, but like Team Indigo's terrible. Like they're awful. Like they screwed them over. Coco, like what they did to Coco, man. Like they made her a stalker. Like it's an unhealthy obsession that the character has for Carmine. Like I really don't like what they did to Coco. Like, oh, I really don't. And then Fox, basically being a communicator. How he has telepathy. That's pretty cool. I'll give him that. Yatsuhashi is OP. What was it? His semblance was what was it? Being able to like infiltrate people's minds and whatnot, or whatever it was. Like, I'm not entirely sure what it was. I'd have to go back over it, but like it was pretty powerful. And at least Velvet, I mean, I'll give him credit. At least Velvet's still enjoyable. Her as well as Sun, I still like them. Theodore is a weird headmaster, but the Grim also with the weird retcon of them being able to absorb aura. Like, I'm just kind of over here like, why can't they just do that in the show then? Like, that would make Cinder OP if you think about it, because then her arm would be able to, like, suck up aura. Like, I don't know. There is some weird stuff that happened in After the Fall and Before the Dawn, in my opinion. Some weird stuff. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'd recommend them or not. Probably not. I'd say spend your money elsewhere. But that's just me. But yeah, good question, man. Andrew Key Russian asks, so a husbando list. Here's 3 types. Bros, wingman, and friendly rival. Ooh, now this is going to be an interesting one. First off, I can't have this list without Speedwagon. This man is a true bro. Like, you want to talk about a good Joe bro? Yes, Speedwagon. He is best bro in JoJo, in my opinion. I love Speedwagon. Joseph Wheeler from Yu-Gi-Oh! He jumped into the ocean to grab Yugi's cards. Like, the Exodia cards. I mean, and also the Joey face. You can't forget Strongman Joey. Definitely a good character. Brock from Pokemon. I'd say he's like a wingman and a bro. And here's my reason for that. Because if it wasn't for him, Ash wouldn't have had Charizard, because he was actually going to be the one to get Charmander because Ash was going to give it to him. And then he said, no, I think you deserve it. And also, Harem. He was also good in that with the women, if you know what I mean. Like, seriously, Brock he's a Chad. And speaking of Chad himself in Bleach. Good character. I like Chad. I think that he was a good bro. My only problem was probably how like everybody kind of just left Ichigo after he lost his powers. Like after that year, I kind of had that problem. But like Chad was always someone who stood by Ichigo, and I really like Chad. Also, Ban from Seven Deadly Sins. I think that he was a good friendly rival. While I have some issues with Seven Deadly Sins, I do like Ban. I do like his character, and he's a stud. I mean, look at the guy. Look at him. Tell me he's not a stud. I'm serious. He's a Chad. Ban is definitely a Chad. Also, another friendly rival I would say is Gray Fullbuster. I mean, like Gray, I've always liked his character. I always liked the rivalry between him and Natsu. And also, I mean, who doesn't like how he shows himself off? I mean, seriously. Yeah, you got it, Gray. Show it off. Show it off. But also, I gotta go with Gene Starwin. I know he's the main character, but he's a bro. He's someone who also tried to help people out. Like, I think he's a great character. I mean, yeah, he's your protagonist. Of course, you know, you're gonna have your protagonist help people out. But like, I really like Gene Starwin. One of my favorites. And also, as far as he goes for Melfina, like, he's a true bro in my opinion. He really is. Also, another rival character, friendly rival, I guess you could say somewhat, is Volley. I kind of like how he's like just a complete dick, but he's a good character in High School DxD. He is my favorite character in DxD, in fact. Like, him and Zenobia are my favorites. But he is the definition of being a man. I have to say, definitely, for sure. Uh, do you think they redeem Neo similar to Emerald, or would you rather just end her suffering and imagine she got isekai into another world? And that'd be Konosuba world, etc. I would rather her be isekai elsewhere because, like, they have just screwed Neo over. They're probably just gonna be all like, "Oh, Team Movie is good. Oh, we got to make Neo good." That's probably what they're gonna do, and I'm gonna be like, "Oh God, don't do that to Neo. Like, don't let her join the terrorists." Like, ugh. I I love Neo, but they have truly screwed over my girl. They've done it. They've screwed her over. Poor Neo. The girl needs some love. Like, God, they treat her so awful, and I hate what they've done to her. I really do. I hate it. I do. It hurts me seeing what they've done to her. It really does. And third question, what show under Rooster Teeth name you would revive aside from RWBY and RWBY? I would have naturally said RWBY Chibi, but it's already getting revived. So, yeah. That would be the only one, actually. Because that's really about all they had going for them when Red vs. Blue was in its prime, and then RWBY. His Genlock is terrible. Like, it's trash. So, yeah, RWBY Chibi, but like I said, it's coming back, so really nothing aside from that. I mean, maybe Nomad. That's about it. But yeah, good question, man. Thanos number 1 asks, so, for your next Q&A, what fantasy novels can you recommend? Oh, that's a good question. I can't even remember the last time I read a fantasy novel. It's been a long time. Because now I just read light novels and manga. I mean, there are fantasy light novels in which I would definitely recommend The Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. That one's really good. Death March to the Parallel World Rhapsody is not bad. And obviously The Rising of a Shield Hero and Spice and Wolf. Those are ones I would definitely tell you. And Goblin Slayer. Goblin Slayer. Cannot forget Goblin Slayer. Those are definitely ones I would recommend, but that's just me. But yeah, good question, man. Elizabeth McAden asks, do you ever plan on looking at Balan Wonderland? So I saw the gameplay trailer of it. It just didn't really look like something for me. I understand that, like, what was it? One of the Sonic artists or developers or whatever was working on it. Like, it just didn't really feel like something I'd be into. But for those who like it, hey, more power to you. Have you seen The Invincible on Amazon? Yes! Yes, it is so good. I mean, there are some differences from the comic, but yes, it's really good, and I highly recommend it. I mean, seriously, think, people, think! That meme, I love it. I love that one. Oh, it's such a good meme. Oh, maybe I should like show some of that meme in like a Q&A, like, because I've seen some really good ones. Oh man, Akechi versus Griffith. Oh, I get it. Because they're traitors in their respective series. You know, Griffith being a traitor to Guts and, you know, his allies in Berserk, and then Akechi being the traitor in Persona. Yeah, no, yeah. I get it. I'd probably go with Griffith over Akechi. I think Griffith would win. Akechi would still put up a good fight though, but I think Griffith is superior. One character you not want to be stuck in a room with anybody from Team RWBY or Team Juniper. Nope. I am not going to be stuck in a room with those people, because, like, if I was in a room with them, let's just say the room, well, it's going to be painted red by the time I'm done with it. Because those characters are so awful. Oh, it would not end well. Could you name 10 villains more intimidating than Salem? Well, I mean, I guess you could say all the 10 that I named earlier kind of count. But, yeah, Dio Brando. Definitely Dio. Enrico Pucci, like Made in Heaven. That's terrifying. Albert Wesker, father from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Who else is intimidating? Oh man, Siryu from Comic Ga Kill. God bless him. Terrifying. Terrifying. Koro, terrifying. Junko from Danganronpa. That's another one that would be terrifying, actually. Thanos, Darkseid, Carnage, any of those three would be terrifying. The Joker would be pretty terrifying, actually. Even the Gravemind from Halo is more terrifying. Like, seriously. Like, it's easy to name off 10 more terrifying characters than Salem. Like, I mean, truly. But yeah, good questions. Edward Armstrong asks, when it comes to fairy tale anime or manga, I've seen some silly examples of fairy tale censorship which kind of turned me off from the anime after 16 episodes. I would definitely recommend the manga. I mean, don't get me wrong, not saying that the animation isn't fun too, because I do like the anime also, but yes, there are some things that have actually been censored in the anime that were not censored in the manga. One example is after the Sun Village arc, what the anime does is they censor a scene where they have everybody just standing out towards a hilltop when they all have like hot cocoa together. Well, actually, what happens in the manga is they sit out and they go into a co-ed spa where Natsu and Erza bathe each other, and they're completely naked. There's the fan service there, and it was great, but they completely shut down that scene, which I thought was kind of ridiculous if you had to ask me. There's also the scene in the Tartarus arc where Natsu and Lisana were in a cage together, which, they did this in the anime, but they didn't do the whole part, where what the demons were doing was they were taking humans, right, like Natsu and Lisana, and they were stripping them bare, and then they throw them in a cell, treating them like animals, which kind of showed that the demons saw humans as lesser beings, which I kind of liked that part. It was very interesting to see what they thought of humans. And then, of course, Silver comes in. Instead of giving Lisana, a drink of water because she was hot, in the manga, she's completely naked, and she doesn't want Natsu to see her naked. So he actually throws a sheet over her because he, was like, I don't want to see a woman like that. There was also the scene in the Grand Magic Games, almost forgot about this one, where when Lucy is completely nude, and Natsu just grabs her breast. Like, they show that in the manga, but they don't actually show that in the anime. They completely censored that. Yeah, I didn't like that they censored some things. That was something I was like, why would you do that? It kind of sucked. But yeah, I can understand being kind of turned off to that because I don't like censorship of any form. So, I totally understand. That's why, I really like to read the manga also, because the manga has some things that sometimes will not actually be within the anime. Like, the Yu-Gi-Oh manga is drastically different from the anime, and that's why I like it so much. But, that's just me. Now, on to the Discord questions. Johnny Q asks, why does Shin Asuka from Sea Destiny being promoted to Ace feel earned more than Team RWBY and Juniper getting their Huntsman licenses? Because the Huntsman licenses were not earned. They were just given to them. Like, Team RWBY and JNR, they didn't do anything to earn it. They just were promoted because, Shin Asuka, while being a very kind individual, was promoted because what happened with him was he was actually proving to be very good with his piloting skills. So, because he was so good with those skills and proving himself worthy within combat, and he was also close range combat, that's what he was used to. I mean, he proved to be worth, promoting as opposed to Team RWBY, because Team RWBY didn't do anything to earn it. He did, and he proved his worth, especially when he beat Kira. So, him being promoted makes more sense than Team RWBY. Team RWBY didn't deserve it, but, that's just my thoughts on it. Thomas Halo asks, have you ever watched any Star Wars fan films on YouTube? If not, I can recommend watching these ones because they're pretty great. Vader Shards of the Past, Kenobi, a Star Wars fan film, and Darth Maul Apprentice. Also, Duel from the Fates or Battle of the Heroes. So, I have watched one, the one that Star Wars Theory did. Was that Vader Shards of the Past? I'd have to look. But I did watch that one. That one was insanely good. He did a great job. And I really feel like it brought fans together. I really do. That one was excellent. Also, Duel of the Fates or Battle of the Heroes. Duel of the Fates. That is so iconic. I love Duel of the Fates. I'll never forget when that came in episode 1. It was such a good theme. I love it. It's too good. But yeah, good questions, man. Sexy Neo asks, list everything RWBY could have learned from My Hero Academia to be a better show. First off, better action, there are some memorable moments. Also, the fan service and great character designs, because can tell you right now, they know how to make appealing female characters. That's one thing. Like, to make appealing male and female characters both, though, that's something you gotta do. You also have to make characters actually enjoyable and likable, which, Hero Academia also has done. Also, like I was saying about the fan service, they don't make attractive female characters. Now, like, they work on male characters, which, they have Sun and the Chad Ironwood and the Chad Atom, but, like, when it comes to female character designs, like, what do they really have going for the characters now? Like, in the beginning, they had attractive female characters. Now they really don't. Like, what? Dio's, like, the only female character that's remotely attractive now? Like, and they nerfed her in comparison to what she looked like and how good she used to look. Like, you look at the characters from My Hero Academia, like, the female characters are brilliant. Like, they look good. You know what I mean? Like, you have Midnight, you have Mount Lady, you have Mirko, you got tons of good female characters that present great fan service. And that are also strong and good characters, too. There's that, which RWBY doesn't seem to have. Also, good rival characters. You need to have good rivals. You need to have characters that will stand up against the ideology of the main protagonist. Be like a foil to them. They don't have to be a villain, but they can be like, characters like Bakugo or, Todoroki are. Because, like, these characters, especially Bakugo, really challenge the perspective of what Deku has. And that's, to me, actually what makes Bakugo such a good character, because his determination will to also be the best, competing with Deku to make him a better character. Like, that's great. Team RWBY doesn't have that. What rivals does Team RWBY have? Zero. Like, they don't even, have a rivalry against each other. Like, they all just think the same. It's much different when you have characters that actually, are different, that have different ideologies, that challenge one another to be better. You know what I mean? Like, they don't even have any of that, which is disappointing. Also, mentor characters. People look up to All Might, right? Like, All Might is, like, the hero anybody wants to be. Well, do you have that in RWBY? You really don't. Like, the mentor was Crow, right? You don't really have that. I mean, even All Might himself had a mentor, someone that he looked up to, which was Nana. But, like, you look at Team RWBY, who do they have to look up to? Nobody. I mean, Crow is just a shell of who he once was. So they have nobody. It's disappointing as well. Also, did I forget to mention the fan service? RWBY needs more fan service. Like, they they need more appealing characters, because I can tell you they don't have that. They don't have their Midnights. They don't have their Mount Ladies. They don't have their Miracles. They don't have that. Like I said, you gotta have appealing characters. RWBY doesn't have that. They haven't had that for years. Sorry to say, but they need to have appealing characters. I'm just saying. But there's a lot of things. Also plot. They need to have good plot. Like I said, a lot of things they can learn from, and they're never going to do it. Like, they never will, which is a real shame, because they don't know how to make entertainment. RWBY will never be entertaining because they don't know how to make it. They don't know how to make entertainment fun. But, yeah, good question, man. Sonic X24 Cool asks, if you could rewrite any character from anything you choose, what would it be, and what would you change? I would actually rewrite Cinder. This character I've always liked in RWBY, but God, have they treated her just awful. I would rewrite her to actually be like somebody who was a third force against Salem as well as Ozpin, and she didn't like either one of them. Like, that's what I would have done. I would have made her opposing to both sides, which then could have made Team RWBY and everyone else think for a change. Think, RWBY, think! Ozpin's only using you as pawns in his war! He doesn't really care about you! He actually just cares about sending everybody to their deaths to fight a witch. Like, that would be great. I would love it. Just seeing Cinder do that. That would be, fantastic. But yeah, that would be fantastic. Good question, man. Johnny Q asks, which ninja is better, Strider or Blake? Is that, really? I mean, Strider. Like, Strider is better. Oh, God. Like, Strider's toe is better than Blake. You kidding me? Like, Strider's breakfast that he ate is better than Blake. Like, a pencil is better than Blake. Like, that's even hard. Metalord 395 asks, got milk? Yes, actually I do. I have some in my fridge. Yep. No, I do have milk. Yep. But Metalord 395 asks, okay. First real question of this month. What do you think of School Babysitter? I really don't care for it. I've never watched it, but it's not really my kind of thing. But hey, for those who like it, more power to you. Nothing wrong with that. But it's not really the kind of series that I'm into. It doesn't really fit what I really care much for. But hey, like I said, to those who like it, more power to you. I hope you enjoy it. Good questions, man. Captain Boomerang asks, other than Roman, what other criminals from other shows would make a great partner in crime for Neo? Oh, well, that's obvious. I definitely have to go with Team Rocket. Change my mind. Team Rocket would be perfect for Neo. Change my mind. But yeah, good question, man. James95 asks, who is your best waifu in Konosuba? Oh, well, I got a couple. But yeah, I think yours seems to be Aqua, maybe? Aqua's not bad. She's known as the useless one. Oh, boy. But, yeah, no, Aqua's not bad. She's not my favorite, though. My favorites would be between two of them. La Latina for Dustiness, which would be Darkness. I am a big fan of Darkness's character. I really do enjoy her a lot. She's pretty hilarious, also with her masochistic personality there, too. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. But another one is also Megumin, because to me, Megumin is the best girl. Like, I really do enjoy her. Not only that, but the explosion! We also cannot forget that. Megumin is absolutely fantastic, in my opinion. But yeah, good question, man. MetalLord395 asks, when would you say that anime became mainstream? I'd say it kind of hit more towards like 2014, 2015. I mean, it had a niche. Back like in the 90s, it was very popular, which you could say was the golden age of anime. But that was the first one at least. And then, of course, we got another golden age, which is currently going on right now, because Western entertainment is shit. So, people are going more to anime and manga. What would you say was the last good year for Western entertainment? Maybe 2014? It's kind of hard to say, because there's been a lot of woke shit going on for the few years. It's been getting progressively worse over time. It's been ruining entertainment because it's been saturating it with politics. So maybe 2013, 2014. It's kind of hard to say. I'd have to really go back to be sure on that. Which English VA would you have chosen to replace Moronica Liar as Uzaki-chan? Anybody that's actually good. Like any VA that's actually good. I'd probably choose Laura Bailey or Shirami Lei. Not bad choices. I mean, there's just plenty of other people that you can choose from, really. See below who wins between Tanjiro and Edward. I'd probably have to go with Edward because of the alchemy. Of course, you have the Demon Slayer arts of Tanjiro, but like, I feel like Edward Elric would win. Now, if you're talking like post Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, then yeah, Tanjiro wins because Edward can't fight anymore. But yeah, like if you're talking about Edward in his prime, probably Edward, in my opinion. But yeah, good questions, Ben. Nothing Nasty asks, in the interest of flipping extra credits, the Fanger for their horrendous evil races video. Favorite evil race species in fiction? Oh, my favorite. The Wuzhong Vong from Star Wars. Like, the ones that are the Force Devourers. Oh, I love those. Like, they are so great in my opinion. And also, you find out that what Palpatine was doing was actually to try to ensure that the Wuzhong Vong wouldn't come and start eating Force users, like, the Force from them. Like, that was great, actually. I liked that. Tons of examples I could list on my end. Lotar was some really cool ones, like the Easterlings and Haradrim. Yes, they were actually some really good races in Lord of the Rings. You are right, actually. I do agree with that. But yeah, good question, man. Sexy Neo asks, would you pilot a Zaku? If yes, which model and why? Yeah, I would actually pilot a Zaku. In fact, the one that I would pilot would actually be the Johnny Ridden R2. I actually like that one. For one, I just love the red and black design. Like, that's one thing. But also its power. Just how strong that Zaku actually was. Yes, that is... I liked it. That is the one I would actually choose if it were me. But like I said, the most important thing to me would be the power of it. But yeah, that's what I would choose if that were me. But yeah, good question, man. Captain Boomerang asks, what's better, Game of Thrones final season or RWBY volumes 3 through 8? Now, I do like volume 3. I think volume 3 is good. Definitely better than Game of Thrones final season. Volume 4 is just boring. Volume 5 is trash. Volume 6, trash for the most part. So, excluding Volume 3, if we did 4 through 8, then yeah, the final season of Game of Thrones is better than 4 through 8, but Volume 3 is definitely better than the final season of Game of Thrones, in my opinion. Metalord395 asks, would you rather be married to a hot chick who is nice to you, but you can't watch anime, or get together with an unattractive woman, but you were allowed to watch anime? Be married to a hot chick that is nice to me, but can't watch anime, because then I can still read manga and light novels. I mean, while it would suck not being able to watch anime, I would hate that, because there wouldn't be anything I'd actually watch then at that point. But, I could still at least read light novels and manga, so yeah, I'd have to go with the first option, be married to a hot chick who is nice, but I couldn't watch anime. But I would still be able to at least read light novels and manga, so there's that. Have Neo murder your favorite anime waifu, or have Mithra get into a death match with Lucina? That practically happens every day, because Smash Bros. Exists, so Mithra get into a death match with Lucina. Yeah, second option. More serious question. What would you do if the American government imposed a complete and total ban of anime, right down to shutting down all pirating websites? I'd leave the country. No, I'm serious. I'd leave the country. I'm going to go watch anime. I'm leaving the country. Sorry. Like, you're not going to stop me from that. So I would straight up leave the country if it were me. But yeah, that's just me. What do you think of anime motivation? I've never looked into them, so I don't have an opinion. Yeah. I think it's supposed to be like a quote site or something. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into them, so I can't really give an opinion. Have a few good anime art websites for people aspiring to be anime artists. I mean, you can just kind of go wherever, because I mean, there's a lot of sites that have anime posted on them for art. You know, like I know one a lot of people go and post art on is DeviantArt. But I mean, like, I don't know of any specifics, but you can go check around and see what you can find. How would you feel about the prospect of a second season of No Game No Life? I'd be happy because I actually want to see Team Blank's story get resolved. I mean, yeah, it would be cool, because it's a really good series. I do recommend No Game No Life. I mean, I think eventually, if it's popular enough and they, look at it and they're like, yeah, we should do it, they probably will. I mean, who knows? We'll see. But yeah, good questions, man. Rainbow Boom X asks, if you could have a Megazord made out of starships, out of Star Trek, Star Wars, Zoids, Gundams, Evangelions, mechs, which ones would you choose? I choose the original Enterprise from the original Star Trek 1969. Star Wars, I'd choose the Super Star Destroyer. Zoids, I'd choose the Liger Zero. When it comes to a Gundam, I would actually choose the Domon Cashew from G Gundam. The Ava 13. And when it comes to a mech, I would definitely choose Megas from Megas XLR. Yeah, those would be great. What would I do with said Megazord? I would definitely rule the world. Like, just rule it all. It's mine. It will forever be mine. But what would be the special moves, and what would be included with this Megazord? You definitely have the Megas, car as the head. Like, it would definitely be where you operate everything. You can also have, like, the thrusters from the Enterprise actually be, like, the actual thrusters for this thing to fly, which would be kind of cool. Or it could maybe make, like, a hammer, like, like a thrust hammer to smack down with it. That'd be kind of awesome. You could have, like, obviously the turrets of, like, the Super Star Destroyer on it, or you could actually use that as a blade. Like, that would be a really cool blade, actually. I mean, seriously, it would be awesome. And then we could call it the Superstar Destructor. That would be awesome. Or, like, if you use the Enterprise thrusters as hammers, it could be called the Enterprise Hammer Thrasher. Like, that would be awesome. Or maybe, like, with the Ava, like, use, like, the extra arms and have, like, spears come out of them. Oh, man, that would be cool. This would be an awesome idea, actually. I really like it. Yeah, man, thanks for the question. Really good one. James95 asks, just want to ask, do you think female Merlin, and do you think she is a good waifu? Yeah, actually, I think that she would be a good waifu. She would definitely be an interesting waifu at that, for sure. But I think she'd be one that could probably give, like, many interesting scenarios for you to be involved in. So, yeah, like, I gotta say, she'd be a cool waifu. Here's some more Fate memes. Okay, here we go. Arthur, the 23M DL campaign is here. Thank you to all players who stuck with us this far. Also, Fate Go Arcade release news about a new singularity. Many seem to think it's Jerusalem, and I yes vote. I like that. Oh, and then Mordred being a flower girl. Oh, that's cute. It's adorable. I like that. It's really cute interaction. She's kind of flustered over it. I like that. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I actually really like that. That's good. Fate Among Us. Merlin is leaving. Merlin failed to leave the room. Oh, Merlin, that's pretty sus, huh? Oh boy. Freaking Among Us, man. That's great. Oh, Nero and Artoria. I'm better than Artoria, and I can prove it. Poor Artoria. Oh, that's great. Archer, we've allied with Imyakun. Don't hurt him. Kill him. Got it. Freaking Archer. Oh, I love that. Oh, man. And then Ren's leaving the house. All right, I'm leaving the house. See you in a bit. Okay, bye. Archer runs over to the laptop. How to end yourself. He would. Artorial answer. Thanks to you, Britain Fall. That's why you aren't my son. Aw, poor Mordred. Aw. Oh, poor Mordred. Oh, this one's really good, too. Oh, these memes are great. Oh, man. Oh, yes. Hey, Ace. Oh, God, I love this one. This one's really good. Master, I have a request for you. Sure, ask away, Artoria. I would like a, because no, that's too selfish for me. It's not fitting for a king to, it's okay, Artoria. Everyone needs a hug every once in a while. Aw, I like those. Those are good ones. That's good. Captain Boomerang asks, what do you think of Phoenix Knight? I actually don't like him. Let me explain. So my reason why I don't like Phoenix Knight, he's an SJW himself. He actually helped in assisting attacking a person that unsubbed from Calexin months ago over a video that was about May Marigold. And so, like, basically, the person just said that they were leaving. They never, to my knowledge, they never stated anything about being against trans people. But apparently, Calaxin, Murderer Birds, Phoenix Knight, and many others took it as the person was phobic. And so they attacked the person. Now, like I said, I haven't seen any proof of that person that said that they were leaving Cal's channel as somebody that was phobic. I have never seen any evidence of it. So I can't tell you whether they are or not. But they all jumped in, including Phoenix Knight, and attacked the guy. And their fans jumped in and attacked the guy, too, without any clarification whether the person had anything against trans people or not. And he was just disgusting. I mean, it goes to show you that people like that are just shit tier people that are attacking somebody just because the person said that they were leaving. Now, of course, they didn't have to even say that they were leaving, but Calaxin immediately jumped to the conclusion that, oh, look, this person is against trans people because it's, my video about a trans character. And then, of course, all these other people, including Phoenix Knight, jumped in, and I just thought it was absolutely repulsive that they would do that, but it's not surprising they would attack somebody either. It's just disgusting, and that's why I don't like Phoenix Knight, but that's just my opinion. I just think that their behavior was repulsive, it was vile, and it's not a way you behave. I mean, there are people you'll disagree with, but, that doesn't mean you go and attack them and, just try to bring attention so that they can get attacked by other people as well. I just don't like that, and I don't think that what Phoenix Knight did was right, but, yeah, that's just my opinion. But, yeah, good question, man. Jay Insanity asks, okay, here's a dumb question. Who's your favorite Genshin Impact husbando and waifu? One for each and no explanation. Just say the name is enough. Okay, so, my favorites are actually between, with the male one, it would be, Zhongli. I think he's really cool. And then, the other one would actually be Rosaria. Those are the two that I actually like. But that's just me. But yeah, good question, man. Metalord395 asks, what was your gateway drugs to the world of anime? When was the first time you laid eyes on anime? Very first series I actually watched was Dragon Ball Z. I remember that, and it was on Toonami. That was the first time I ever watched anime. So yeah, Toonami was basically the first time I ever watched anime. So you know, got to give props to that at least. It was really cool. But yeah, good question, man. Johnny Q asks, which protagonist is better, Shinji from Evangelion, including rebuilds, or Ruby from RWBY? Any reasons? I mean, Shinji's definitely the better character. Like, he's someone who, while he didn't want to actually work with his father, then again, his father just kind of left him for many years. And it's just like, oh yeah, bring him back for the robot. Like, Shinji did want to actually save the world, and yeah, he knew that sacrifices had to be made along the way, but with everything he went through, I think he was a much better character. He understood that sacrifices were going to be made. Ruby, on the other hand, is just trash. Like, she's a terrorist. She destroyed an entire country. Shinji tried to save the world. Like, Ruby's a terrible character. She just is. Oh, she has more of a body count than the antagonists even do. It's ridiculous. But yeah, good question, man. James95 asks, hey, just want to ask, have you seen an anime called Girls und Panzer? Yes, I have. Girls und Panzer is a fantastic series. I remember my friend got me into it. In fact, we watched it all together, and the series is so good. It's educational as well, even teaching you about tanks and even history. I really love it, and I would highly recommend it to anybody that would be into it. Also, my favorite characters in it, definitely Miho. I mean, yeah, protagonist, but like, she actually goes through a lot in this, and her development along the way, and actually how good of a leader she is, really shines. I do like her character. I actually like her sister Maho. I think Maho was a good character as well. While she was, obviously, big challenge for her sister in the end, like the final boss battle. I mean, she was a good character. Actually, turned out to care about her sister the whole time as well. And then Mako, because Mako is adorable. Like, tell me I'm wrong. Mako was one of the best characters also, and how lazy she was kind of funny. Like, I like the gags involving that, but yeah, she was a adorable character. But yeah, good series, highly recommended to everybody. But that's just me. Good question, man. Johnny Q asks, do you think Sukana at full power is threatening compared to Salem? I think that a kitten is threatening in comparison to Salem. I think that a cup of water is more threatening in comparison to Salem. I think that a caterpillar is more threatening than Salem. So yes, Sukana at full power is way more threatening in comparison to Salem. That's when you know you've done your villain wrong, if like these things that I just brought up were all more intimidating than Salem. But yeah, good question, man. Captain Boomerang asks, Draco, what was the most cringiest moment in anime? Oh god, there's a lot. There's a lot. I think one of the biggest ones that I will never forget, it's really more of a comparison resulting in cringe, but Goku never kissed his wife, apparently, according to Dragon Ball Super. And Ash Ketchum in Pokemon, because they've retconned his age, but he's 10 years old, and he's gotten a kiss on the lips by a girl that liked him before Goku could ever even kiss his own wife, because he still hasn't even kissed his own wife, apparently by canon laws. That's ridiculous. Like, that's cringe. That is truly cringe. But yeah, good question, man. Sexy Neo asks, you know how in My Hero Academia they have a top 10 hero list? What would you say are the top 10 heroes, both DC and Marvel, and why? One list for DC and one for Marvel. So I would say that Black Canary be one of them. My reason for that is she could kick the crap out of people without having superpowers, and then her own power, like, is extremely dangerous by just being ear-shattering. Like, I'd give Black Canary one of them. Green Arrow would be another one, in my opinion. I mean, the guy, like, when he was young, was on an island, and he actually had to learn how to survive. And then, of course, he came back and became one of the greatest heroes, I think, in DC, and was very useful within the Justice League as well. I'd say he has to be one of them. John Constantine, because he literally fights the forces of, supernatural and hell. He tries to stop these creatures from coming into the world. Like, John Constantine, I think, is one of the best ones, really. The Flash, I would say, would be another one of them, because, for one, he's very iconic. That super speed's great. Speed Force. I mean, the character, he also does try to help civilians however he can, so I have to really give it to the Flash. Another one would be Dr. Fate. I mean, the guy himself is known as Lord of Order, which is one of the most powerful mystical beings and DC. Not only that, but he fights against the Lords of Chaos in mystical battles. Like, I think that he would be one of the best ones. Also, Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, because he not only fights to save the world, but he fights in the whole entire universe to save the universe. So I really have to put Green Lantern up there. And then, of course, Wonder Woman. Who wouldn't know that Wonder Woman would be on this list because she's one of the most well-known characters also. So I would say that she would probably be one of them because of how well she is when it comes to trying to save others. And one of the founding members of the Justice League, like many of the people on this list. Also, Martian Manhunter. Many people don't know of this guy. He's like a foil to Superman, and his story of trying to save his people on Mars, fantastic story. And he's one of the founding members of the Justice League. He's one of my favorite characters in all of DC. I think he would definitely be one of the top 10. Batman, because, well, it's Batman. I mean, very intelligent guy. Superpower is money. I mean, Wayne Industries, Batman, everybody knows Batman. And then Superman himself, because he is basically a god. I mean, he really is. Truly, he is one who is selfless to save others. Superman would definitely be probably the number one hero. He'd be like All Might, essentially, even though All Might would basically be based off of him. But you get my point. Then Doctor Strange in Marvel would probably be on the list of top 10 because Doctor Strange, fighting, dimensional beings and whatnot. Gotta say, Doctor Strange would probably be there. Also Black Widow, because while she is an assassin, and yes, at one time she was an antagonist, Hawkeye, early on in the comics, he actually helped her see the light, she changed her ways, and she also has the super soldier serum in her, Captain America, so she's a lot stronger than people actually think, and Marvel Universe, when it comes to the MCU, they kind of weakened her, nerfed her in a sense. Also Wolverine, because the man is badass, he's been fighting since the Civil War, the guy has been around for a long time. Great character, and I think he definitely be one of the top 10. The Hulk, because it's the Hulk. You can't kill him, and he just gets stronger the angrier he gets. It's the Hulk. What are you going to do to this man? It's the Hulk. Thor, the god himself, he would definitely be another one. I mean, he not only fights to save the world, but he also fights to save the galaxy as well as Valhalla. So, gotta give it to Thor. And another one, which is Hyperion. Hyperion is like Marvel's equivalent to Superman. And he's extremely powerful himself. Like I said, you think about Superman, but just think about the Marvel iteration. That's basically Hyperion. So I'd say Hyperion would definitely be on this list. The Wasp. Now, the reason why I say Janet Van Dyne Wasp is because, for one, she was at one time even the leader of the Avengers. And the Wasp, not only can she shrink, but she can also grow with the Pym cells. So Wasp is actually very intelligent. She's done a lot to help out the Avengers. So I got to give it to Wasp. Spider-Man, because who doesn't love this guy? Peter Parker Spider-Man is fantastic. I mean, the guy is the core of Marvel when you think about it. That's Spider-Man. Spider-Man is an icon. A huge one at that. So yeah, I definitely say Spider-Man, and people love Spider-Man. Iron Man also, because his tech has helped the world in many different ways. In fact, he's also helped some of the other heroes, including Spider-Man, as well. I mean, he gave Spider-Man a mechanized suit as well, so which was the Iron Spider. So there's that. Then Captain America, because he's Captain America. He's a huge hero that everybody knows, and he's the symbol of America. So Captain America definitely. But yeah, those would be the 10 I'd say on both lists. But yeah, good question, man. Johnny Q asked, is it sad that Mai and Maki have more of a sister relationship on screen despite one hating the other than Ruby and Yang, who have never spoken to each other in forever? Yeah, so I think you mean the Mai and Maki from Jujutsu Kaisen. If that's what you mean, then yes, it's pretty hilarious, especially when they'll blame one another or something. But Ruby and Yang, they just don't feel like sisters at all. No, I agree with you. It's actually pretty hilarious. Mai and Maki feel like more sisters than Ruby and Yang ever will. But yeah, good question, man. Captain Boomerang asks, who is your favorite anime healer? Oh, well, that's a pretty obvious one. My favorite anime healer is Giorno Giovanna, the Chad God himself. Oh, Giorno, he's a unique healer. I really like that he can take objects and change them and then form them to the body. I think that's a really cool way of healing personally. I just like Giorno. They get gold experience Requiem. It's busted. But yeah, good question, man. Metal Lord 395 asks, do you think that shonen anime is overrated? I think it depends on what the series is to say if it's overrated. I wouldn't say all shonen's overrated, but I would say certain series in shonen is overrated. Like how like there are some people out there who really like Boruto, and I don't think it's that good. That's my personal opinion. There's a lot of plot holes in it, and a lot of things that really don't add up in comparison to even the original Naruto. Now, while there were a lot of plot holes in the original Naruto, and there were a lot of issues that came from it as well, but I'm just saying I do think Naruto is a bit overrated itself as well, personally. Um, I do think there are much better series. Like I think Bleach, for example, is a shonen. I think it's better than Naruto and Boruto put together. But that's just me. Burn the Witch is actually really good. I actually like Burn the Witch. That's another shonen. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I don't think that's overrated. I think it's fantastic. In fact, I think that Araki continues to show his genius the more he writes. Now, I know Part 6 of JoJo has a lot of controversy behind it, but while it still has issues, and it may be not the best work of Araki, but I still find enjoyment in it. And then, of course, there's Dragon Ball, which is also a very good series, which is known as legendary anime and manga. So, like, I don't think all shonen is overrated, but I do think that some shonen is overrated, if you get what I mean. Like, there are some series out there that is overhyped. And then there's some series out there that's really, really, really good. Like, so I don't think that all shonen anime is overrated. I think it's just certain series over others that I would say is overrated. But that's just me. Know any good short shonen series? You could look into Beelzebub, the anime shorter than the manga. You could look into Cells at Work, even though it's still continuing, but still it's got shorter seasons. I mean, if that's what you're looking for, you can do that. But yeah, good questions, man. Gundam Lancelot asks second top questions for April. Panema was the Gundam unicorn of the Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I guess I could say so, yeah. So, what colors of Hikari and Homura might be referred to? So, Hikari, which would be Mithra, could be referred to yellow or light, because Hikari is light, yeah. And then Homura, or in other words, Pyra, would be fire or red. So, yeah, that's what I would say that they would be referred to. Banshee Norn Destroy Mode and the original Gundam Unicorn Destroy Mode. Well, considering that both of them, when you think about it, like the Unicorn's operating system and then the Banshee's raw performance, is also equal to the Unicorn. So, basically, they would probably be equal. The only thing that you would have that could be different to make one defeat the other would probably be a better pilot. I would say a better pilot would be the one to defeat the other, in my opinion. But that's just me. So it would come down to who the pilot is and how much more experienced that pilot is than the other, I'd say. I do see they also have a robot that has a similarity to the mobile suit named Siren in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and I can also see there are some GN particle files from Siren's funnels. Are those particles referring to Gundam 00's GN-derived particles? I have no idea. I don't know. If it's a reference, that's a pretty interesting reference, but I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. If Xenoblade Chronicles 2 decides to make their new movie of the Gundam series in their universe, are they going to use Jack Wang's Shang-Chi soundtrack in their own trailer? No, I'd say that they would make up their own, like they would have like a Xenoblade Chronicles 2 theme mixed with a Gundam theme, I would probably say. I don't know, maybe the most popular Gundam theme. Is probably what they do, or one that would fit whatever generation of Gundam they're using. That's what I would say. Final question. X, will the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 collaborating with Sunrise Productions, aka Every Gundam series, to spread the connectivity of the storytelling based on every mobile suit evolutions? I don't know. I mean, because that's if they were to even do a collaboration in the first place. But I don't know. I don't know how that would work really if they did that. Because then again, there's two separate universes here. But I'm not sure. I really don't know how to answer that. I really don't. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. They'd have to figure out how to make that work. So I have no idea. Yeah, good questions. Fallstorm Jaeger asks, for the April 2021 Q&A, since Resident Evil 8 is releasing soon, I decided to go with a Resident Evil theme this time. What are your top 10 Resident Evil villains? Okay, so this is interesting. So the first one would be Alexa and Alfred Ashford from Resident Evil Code Veronica. These two siblings are messed up. Then Oswald E. Spencer, because you can't have Resident Evil without this guy. And, I'd have to say that he definitely fits on here. Then, of course, Mr. X, which has made a few appearances within the city, like Resident Evil 2, as well as Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. So yeah, definitely a terrifying threat. The Baker family as well, which I've had actually more of an appreciation for them since Resident Evil Village came out. So there's that, and same with Evelyn, because that has a pretty deep connection to Village as well. Like I said, I'm not going to spoil anything, but for those of you who may play Village, you'll understand what I mean. Lady Dimitrescu, because who doesn't like the tall vampire lady? The only complaint I have is she just was not in the game long enough. That's my biggest complaint about it. The next one is a big one, that being Nemesis. Absolutely terrifying, and also he used a weapon. Like, Nemesis was terrifying. Then there's Mother Miranda in Village, and she's extremely vital to the whole series. I'm not going to explain why, but you play Village, you'll find out. You'll know what I mean. And then the next one, which is William Birkin. Oh, man, you want to talk about that guy. Oh, when he became the monster, man, like, he was insane. But the number one, in my opinion, is Albert Wesker. You can't have Resident Evil without this great of a villain. Like, Wesker will always be remembered. He is such a great villain in Resident Evil. So what do you think are the scariest BOWs? Now, this list is a pretty interesting one. So in terms of the BOWs and what I think about them, there have been some pretty terrifying ones over time. So these are the ones that I think are pretty scary, in my opinion. So the Ouroboros, I think that it was one of the scariest BOWs in Resident Evil. Another one that I think was actually quite terrifying was the Reaper. And while, Resident Evil 5 definitely was not the best game, but I still think that the Reaper was a terrifying BOW. Next would be the Chainsaw Mangini. These things are terrifying. And they're wielding a chainsaw. Like, that's actually what made it the most terrifying, in my opinion, was the chainsaw. And then there was the Hunter. The Hunters are pretty scary, in my opinion. Like, those things are kind of terrifying to deal with. And then, also, I think that the Lickers were pretty scary. Like, you look at that thing, man, Lickers, yeah, I wouldn't want one of those trying to jump me. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, no thanks. Also, the Iron Maiden from Resident Evil 4. Now, this one was like pretty crazy. BOW in the game, I remember that. That one was pretty creepy. Also, the G. That one was, yeah, that was pretty eerie as well. The G kind of is a bit terrifying if you had to ask me. Another one that I thought was pretty scary was the Vertigo. That thing was nuts. Like, that's a pretty terrifying BOW when I think about it. So, another one that I thought was very terrifying was the Tyrant. Like, this thing was also pretty, like, crazy out there. Like, but I like it. Like, it's a terrifying but awesome BOW. And then, of course, Nemesis. Because, like I said, Nemesis follows you around and has a freaking weapon. That's terrifying to actually have a freaking weapon for a change. Nemesis was absolutely terrifying. I'd say probably the most terrifying BOW in my opinion. But, yeah. Very, very terrifying. Who would you pick as your RE partner? Oh, easy. Claire. Claire Redfield. 100%. I mean, she is the best girl of the series. I would definitely have to go with Claire without any question at all. But yeah, so Claire Redfield all the way. Will you preserve the Redfield lineage? Would I preserve it? I would multiply it. There wouldn't be a preserved only. Oh, no, 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 no. No, no, no. I'm going to make bunnies wish that they could be this good. That's what'll happen. Oh, God. But yeah, good questions, man. 16 you asked, which Gundam would you not pilot even if they tried to pay you? Oh, this is easy. I would definitely have to say that gun tank. No. That thing is the worst pile of trash. No. I would never pilot this terrible thing. Ever. Like, never, ever. I would not pilot this. You couldn't pay me enough. I would not pilot it. Good question, man. Alex Kidd asks, so Draco, I was thinking, if I had to give you pictures of different Servants of Fate, would you be able to guess them? I would be able to guess some of them, because I know some of them. I do have problems remembering some, because I'm good with faces, not names. So, like, I'll remember the looks of them, but sometimes I will not remember the names, so that's kind of a problem. But I will recognize them, but getting their names right, I probably won't. But hey, go for it. We'll see how wrong I get it. Arc Lord asks, after seeing this, I needed to ask you iOS waifu or Android waifu. Oh, that is simple. Android waifu all the way. Because the iOS, only top tier restaurants. Okay. I mean, I could go with that. Forbid you from watching Prawn. I could live without it. Designer clothes. No. Doesn't really like your friends. No. Then the Android, breakfast pizza. I've eaten breakfast for pizza a few times before. Yeah, okay, all right. Watches even more Prawn than you. That's probably true. She steals your hoodie. Ha, jokes on her. I don't have a hoodie. I wear jackets only. Gets along with everyone. Yeah, no, that sounds good actually. Yeah, no, but yeah, no, I'm still someone who prefers Android over iOS in my opinion, but that's just me. Metalord 395 asks, "What anime did you watch on National Anime Day?" I didn't because I worked that day. Do you imagine that Tanjiro Kamado would make friends with Ren Okumura even though the latter is a demon? Yeah, because as long as the demon wasn't evil, he'd be fine with it. I mean, his own sister, was a demon at one time, so yeah, he'd be okay with it. So yeah. Mr. DJ Fly asks, if RWBY gets outsourced to Japan or China, which country and why? Japan, I think would actually bring RWBY justice. So I'd have to say Japan personally. I think they would do an excellent job if you had to ask me, but that's just me. So I have to go with Japan over China on that one. Um, Also, if it goes to Japan, which studio and why? Studio Madhouse. I mean, have you seen Hunter x Hunter's animation, or have you seen, One Punch Man season 1, or Hellsing Ultimate? Oh man, they did those so well. Like they were beautiful. Highly recommend all of those series, by the way. Just saying, but they did them all justice. How will either country studio contend with the whole toxic fandom that RWBY is famous slash infamous for? They won't even listen to it because Japan doesn't care to listen to woke crap. So when they hear it, they just laugh at it and they're like, "No, it's not going to bring us money. So no, we're not going to do it." So Japan would just ignore it. Like they wouldn't care because they don't listen to that crap. So yeah, you wouldn't have to worry about them worrying about what the fandom thinks. So yeah, so that would be a good thing. What's the biggest problem you see with internet entertainment companies like RT and Smosh? Well, like you look at RT, I mean, they decided to go woke and they thought that was the best thing to do. And now they use basically any platform, like any of their shows, as basically a political mouthpiece. It's basically all it is. Um, and, they try to brainwash people into thinking the way they think, trying to push everybody into their woke cult, which nobody cares to listen to it. And, it's a big problem because then it's going to probably, for one, it's going to make them collapse, but it's probably also going to encourage other companies to think this is the way to go, and they're going to start doing it too. Unless they're smart enough, and they're like, oh no, this woke shit doesn't work, and they're like, no, we're not gonna do it, you know what I mean? Like, the best way to take care of that is just laugh at them and just ignore them. It's the best thing to do. Could you see a shift in the media landscape from being woke to the other direction? Yeah, I mean, it's gonna change because people are starting to see more and more of this crap already. So yeah, I think that more and more people are just going to be like, wow, this is some shit. And they're just going to continue to walk away from it. And the media itself, like they'll probably continue to keep doing this because, they think it's the right way to go, which obviously it's not. But that's why you don't trust the mainstream media and why you just rebuild on the ashes of the old industry, both the mainstream media as well as entertainment. And then you create new stuff that doesn't have this woke shit in it, and people will come to it as long as you treat people with respect and you make good entertainment, So that'd be better that way than listen to the woke crap the mainstream industry has, but I'm just saying. But yeah, good question, man. So Arklord asks, hi Draco, interesting question for you. Did you ever have a character or characters you like but you never watched played the series from what they are? Mine, as example, are Mirko from My Hero Academia, What Can I Say, I Love Bunnies, and Mana from Genshin Impact. It's kind of funny because, like, when that happens, I tend to actually get into, what I like. Cause like whenever I see like a character like that I like, and then I get into the material, and then I'm like, oh, I actually like this or something. So that's kind of what happens with me. So I guess you could say I have, but then I got into it because I checked it out. So yeah. But yeah, good question, man. CA Glow in the Dark asks, have you ever tried any GNU Linux operating systems? No, I haven't, but I could actually give it a shot. Because I was looking into it recently, ironically, after you sent the question. So I was like, this could be something. So I might actually do it. But yeah, thank you for the question. Good one. Good one for sure. Lancelot Gundam asked top question. In the future, in Xenoblade Chronicles 4 was produced using the characters from Xenoblade 2, are they gonna make even more rare and hidden Gundam references like Double O Seed, Wing, G Gundam, and Gundam Unicorn? Um, I don't really know if they made Gundam references. I just know that the series itself was really fun and enjoyable to play. But I mean, if there were any references, I'll definitely have to go back and check. But if they do make references, and if that's what they want to do, I mean, they could. I don't know. I mean, maybe. I mean, I couldn't really tell you, but I mean, maybe so. I don't know. But references are pretty fun sometimes. I mean, I do think they're pretty cool. Yeah, good question, man. Metalord 395 asks, do you think that the scandals and problems of Rooster Teeth would have still come out even if they hadn't fired Vic? I think Vic was the landslide, but I mean, eventually things come out. Like, you can't really hide things forever, and I think they would have eventually come out. I mean, like Shea Neuville's letter, a lot of people still questioned it. It was clearly real, especially when you had some people that came out, like Kathleen Zulch, for example, talking about how it was real. And so, like there were people that were like back in this letter, and then Rooster Teeth was going under damage control then. But I mean, it wasn't as big because there had never been anything come out before that. So, you're just kind of thinking, okay, well, maybe some people would brush it under the rug, but if you did enough digging, you'd see that there were people that were actually supporting the letter. I started finding out about issues with Rooster Teeth when I did enough digging during Volume 5 when it was going on. That's when I started to actually find out a lot of problems with the company itself. Now, of course, some things I didn't find out until I got into contact with the sources that I have, which then they were still questionable because I wondered if they were, real or not, which then they started to come out to be real, and I was like, oh god. So eventually stuff was going to come out. I mean, it was just going to happen, and slowly over time it obviously did. But yeah. So yeah, I think it still would have come out eventually. What's your favorite type of villain? Irredeemable psychopath who commits crimes for the lulz, villains who have potential for redemption, both or other. Please specify. Like one of my favorite type of villains is I do sometimes just like a villain being a villain. Like they were just evil for the sake of evil. Like like I like that in a villain sometimes. I also do like some villains that have potential for redemption. But my reason why I like villains that like are evil for the sake of evil. Sometimes I just like chaotic characters. Sometimes I just like characters that they're just evil to the core, and that's what they always were. Because you don't always have to have a villain to be redeemable. You don't have to have a villain to always be this character that was sympathetic either. You can just have a character just straight up evil, and if they're done right, they're fantastic. But there are also characters that I like that were villains that were redeemed, like Vegeta and Piccolo from Dragon Ball. Like, I like those two characters, and I like what they went through in their development process in Dragon Ball Z as well. Like, Piccolo actually being like evil and then became the father of Gohan. But yeah, I love that. Like Piccolo's story is actually, in my opinion, one of the best in terms of redemption, at least. But yeah, that's my perspective on antagonists, but that's just me. But yeah, good question, man. Jay Insanity asks, this is the stupidest take, but you can agree or disagree. I'm not into Genshin Impact, but I can say about the characters, they all look perfect. That I'll be staring menacingly at someone who dares to tell me what's your favorite waifu and husbando in Genshin Impact, because they all look pretty husbando and waifu wise, aka no debates. I don't think it's stupid. I mean, everybody has their own opinions. I mean, and that's fine. You're not wrong for that. But yeah, hey man, everybody has their own takes. Everybody has their own opinion, and there's nothing wrong with that. So Bailing asked, question for April 2021 Q&A. Got a serious question. Who are your personal top 5 mangaka writers from Japan who piss you off? Oh boy, that's an interesting one. I'd have to say Isayama, the creator of Attack on Titan. Like, he tried to really build up Attack on Titan. And look, the start of Attack on Titan is great. It really is. Like, I like the first 3 arcs, honestly. But I think when we get to the final arc, like, it was even before the ending that I was having issues with Attack on Titan. because there were just so many things that he was trying to cram in there. Well, there was like with the Eldians and Marlians, but the one thing that I thought was terrible, and I hated this, was how Aaron could basically, because of the founding Titan powers, it allowed him to go through the past, try to manipulate people, to do things the way he wanted it to be, kind of like essentially being God. And then he was even the cause of his own mother's death, so that he could motivate himself to become a scout. I thought that was just absolutely atrocious. Like, it frustrates me. It genuinely does. Like, it actually angers me. Just the ending to Attack on Titan was just so awful. I mean, it's really bad. I don't like it. I really just do not like it. It is just so bad. And it doesn't even solve any of the problems. Like, that is my issue. It actually does not realistically solve any problems other than Titans just don't exist anymore. But that doesn't mean that Paradise Island's safe. You know, Eldians and Marlians will probably hate each other even more. Like, it doesn't really save anything. Like, it's like he tried to pull a Zero Requiem plan from Code Geass, but it didn't work. Like, it was just bad. Masashi Kishimoto. I don't really care much for him either. I know a lot of people like Naruto, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with anyone that likes it. But there's a lot of issues with the retcons that he had in his series. Like one of them with the tailed beast, and how like the Shikaku, the one tail, didn't even know who the Nine Tails was. Back when Naruto fought Gaara and he transformed like his form to looking like the Nine Tails to fight the Shikaku. And the issue with this is, Shikaku doesn't recognize him, but then later on, it's retcon to explain that instead of the Shikaku being an old man that was sealed into a tea kettle, later on, it's just retcon to where it's like, oh, yeah. We'll change this origin to they were all created by the Sage of Six Paths. There you go. Boom. It works, right? But then it's like, wait, this doesn't work, though. And how, like, ninjutsu goes from being ninjutsu to, like, just these explosions, like, as if Naruto was trying to be Dragon Ball Z. And I was like, this is not working for me. Like, I had a lot of problems with it. And I mean, the ending to me just was not good. He took forever because he didn't even know what he was doing with the Fourth Great Ninja War. He didn't know how to even defeat Madara, so he decided to bring in Kaguya, which I thought was a really terrible idea. Doesn't make me feel anything for Kaguya in terms of like, I really don't. And they could have saved her for Boruto if they were going to do a sequel, which, I don't even think he knew he was going to have a sequel. So yeah, just Kaguya feels so shoehorned, it's ridiculous. But yeah, I just feel like it was a mess. Another one, now this is more of a love-hate relationship, would be Nakaba Suzuki, who is the creator of Seven Deadly Sins. The one gripe I have with him, and this is just my gripe, is how like a lot of the characters just fell behind in terms of the power scaling area. Like you had Bon, you had Deanne, you had King, you had like all these characters just kind of fall behind. It really just kind of resulted in like Meliodas being the powerhouse of everything. I kind of hate it when like a lot of the cast characters just get watered down just so that one, maybe two characters stay relevant. I honestly didn't like that he did that. I mean, Dragon Ball has the same problem where like very few characters actually stay strong, like in comparison to like Goku or Vegeta, because like mostly Goku and Vegeta get like all the attention, and then it's like, well, what about the other characters like Piccolo or Gohan? Like so that's why I kind of don't really have like a good standing in some degrees with Nakaba Suzuki, because it just felt like Meliodas became like such a powerhouse character while everybody else was just power crept out of the series in a sense. And it was disappointing to me. It really was, because I wanted to see like characters like Bon or Deanne or King get more love, or Merlin. And too bad we didn't really get that. I can't really say that there's many others I have like a really big issue with though. Like those are the ones that really come off the top of my head. I can't really think of any others that really make me angry with them. Um, but like I said, Nakaba Suzuki is more of a love-hate relationship, because he did do some good things. Like Escanor is like amazing. I mean, of course, I don't blame him for the animation for the anime in that fight with the Escanor. That was pretty bad, but that's not his fault. But like, yeah, it's just like, there are some that I do enjoy, but then there are some I don't like, and yeah, so it's like, to me, these are like the three that I'd say I have problems with, where I just don't like, because Kishimoto, man, I just don't like him. I really don't like him as a writer, but that's just me. But yeah, good question, man. So Captain Boomerang asks, "Hey Draco, if you have a Facebook, what's the dumbest fact check post you've seen?" I actually don't have a Facebook. I've never liked Facebook, so I stayed away from it. I feel like it's one of the smartest things I ever did. I was just like, yeah, Facebook, Zuckerberg, no. So I wouldn't know, so I stayed away from it. But yeah, good question, man. Metalord395 asks, if Neo made an OnlyFans, would you subscribe to it? Yes. Yes, I would. What about Pyra, Cynthia, or Lucina? Yes, I would. See, look, I don't subscribe to OnlyFans, but they're the exception. If an anime was officially dubbed in a language besides Japanese or English, would you want to check the third language option out? Well, there actually are multiple other options because, I've seen German and Spanish dubs. So, they exist. I mean, there are plenty of different ones out there, more than just, obviously, English and Japanese, so that if, people want to be able to watch it, they can. And I've seen, like I said, the German and Spanish ones. They're not bad. I'm just going to stick to English and Japanese because, I know English and I know a little bit of Japanese. So, that's just me. So I'm just going to stick with what I know. But if I knew the other languages, yeah, I'd give them a shot and check them out more. You know what I mean? But, yeah. Metalor395 asks, do you know what Animax is? If so, what are your thoughts on it? So, if I remember right, I think it's like a channel in what, was it Asia? Was it, I believe that showed like anime. Yeah, I know of it. I've never watched it. But, yeah, I mean, that's good. At least people can see anime that way. So, I don't have any problem with it. But, yeah, good questions, man. Lancelot Gundam asks, if the song like Rock Your Soul V6 was used as the theme song for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Gundam Universe, would you accept it? I mean, as long as it fits, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with it. Whatever works, whatever's good, then I'd be fine with it. But yeah, good question. Metalord395 asks, do you follow any Twitch streamers? Nope, because I don't like Twitch. I do not like Twitch at all. Do you know whether anime creators generally can work alone? Not to my knowledge, because you have to have a team. Like, you have to have a committee to help you work with it. Like, you have to have animators, you have to have, producers, director. We got to work in the studio. So, and there's a lot more that goes to the process as well. So, I don't think so. No. You'd have to have a team of people to help you. Because all that work on one person would be way too much stress for them to handle, and it would just take up way too much time. So I don't think that a person could work on their own. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think that they could. What are your thoughts on this, which is Hayate the Combat Butler? I plan to watch it eventually. I haven't seen it, so I can't give any opinions on it. But I mean, hey, hopefully you like it. But good questions, man. Sharmark asks, do you have any thoughts on Pantera? I haven't actually listened to them, but I am aware of them. They're a heavy metal band. I am big into heavy metal as well as like metal in general and rock. So like, yeah, I'll give them a try, and I'll let you know what I think. So Sexy Neo asks, can I have some tuna, please? No, I'd like to smack this cat. Tell her no. She's been naughty. She helped destroy an entire country. No, go away. Go away. No. What do you think of Mama's dogs? Oh, so they look pretty good. They look like nice dogs. I used to have one myself, actually. Unfortunately, he passed away many, many years ago, but he's a good dog. But yeah, these dogs look good. They look nice. The black one looks like it might get into stuff. That like the way that this image right here is looks like he did something bad. He's like, oh no, I'm gonna get punished. And then this dog right here just looks chill, like, sup. Like, he looks like a chill dog. They look cool. I like your dogs. They look cool. And Sexy Neo asks, here's some My Hero Academia memes for you. Remember Scyther? He studies in UA now. Feels old yet. He's studying to become a Scizor. He wants to evolve. He wants to find out how to evolve without trait evolution, because that's what he hates doing. Like all of the others. Saitama, when you're speed copying the homework while the teacher's coming around the class and your hand cramps up. Oh man. Oh, that reminds me of like a science teacher I had that didn't actually teach us, and we all just like copied off each other, and they got mad because we copied off each other. Oh, it reminds me of that. What if we use 100% of our brain If I'm worried about my arms, then I'll use my legs. I will erase half the waifu in the universe. No, yeah, no. That's exactly what anyone would think. Like, just, no. Oh, man, that sounds like what, we don't need in the world. You know, we don't need less waifus. We need more. We need more waifus. Men out of respecting women. This is beyond science. Oh yeah, because he's a little pervert. Yeah, yeah. My friend solving a hard math problem, me waiting for the answer. yeah. Math is actually my worst subject. I absolutely despise math. Oh god, like it's funny. Yu-Gi-Oh player, and yet I despise math. That's pretty hilarious when you think about it. Imagine these four guys in one room with you. You know, yeah, that. Oh, but you know what's funny is that all of them would probably eventually get along. That's kind of the funny. They would all probably, like, Bakugo might be the hardest one to deal with, but they'd all eventually get along, I'm sure. When you and your friends are secretly the German flag as the colors. Yeah, I get it. Oh, that's pretty funny actually. Oh man, Toga when she sees Deku for the first time. I'm gonna have spicy thoughts about that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, of course. When you carry up all 95 grocery bags in one go. Okay, who's buying 95 grocery bags? That's my better question. Like, who's buying 95 grocery bags worth of groceries? That's a bit, okay, that's a bit ridiculous. Will you please listen? I'm not the Messiah. He is the Messiah. You know, Bakugo is my favorite character in Hero Academia, so yes, the Messiah. Only the real ones know about the original My Hero Academia. Oh yeah, Sky High. I actually remember this. Crazy enough, as bizarre as it sounds, I remember this movie. I actually legit remember this movie. That's the crazy thing. Oh yes, me, my boyfriend, and his $500 5-foot tall All Might. You know what's the thing is, I can see Deku sleeping with that. That's the thing. I can see it. Would you punch your bestie for $1 million? Girls, no, they're my bestie. Boys, and they just do it. You know what? I've done it before. Okay, where's my $1 million? Somebody give me my $1 million bucks. Do you ever look at stuff and wonder how it got there? Yes. Yeah, I do. I do. One of those things is not like the other. Eerie after taking a bite from her candied apple. This is some serious gourmet shit. How are these two the same voice? Because the voice actor is insanely good at range. That's why. Oh, that is crazy to think that they are two totally different people, because they're two totally different personalities. It's really crazy to think about it, actually. Why you stand like that, though, when you have Ryuk and Bakugo having the same pose? Yeah, that's great. When the hero you're fighting erased your quirk, so you pull a gun on him, erase this, you fucking casual. You can't erase a bullet. Still the best smile. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Eraserhead is one of them that has the best smile. Eraserhead for waifu, for best smiling waifu. Oh man, what other anime fandoms do? Meanwhile, the Dragon Ball fandom. That is so true, though. That is so, like, the Dragon Ball fandom. It's like who can beat who? You know, like, who's the manliest man in Dragon Ball? And then it's like you look at other fandoms and they're shipping characters to other characters. You're like, okay. When your teacher doesn't let you beat up other students in the middle of class. Oh, that's pretty funny, actually. Oh, Bakugo would not be happy about that. Kachan, Deku, Kachan, Deku, Kachan, damn nerd. Oh man, oh god, that's great. That's funny. Remember them? They started dating now. I don't care if you feel old now. Oh man, yeah. My My Hero Academia and Hello Kitty. That's crazy to think about. Deku returning home to his mom after almost, ending himself on live TV. Like, I'm a champion. Oh, 02. Smile. That's great. It's like to her, that's what would make Hero Academia better. My Hero Academia Season 5 trailer, Class 1A, Class 1B. All Might, why are you fighting? They took our class duster! Oh, that's great. I love it. The four horsemen of cuteness. Okay, one of these does not belong here. And it's I'm pretty sure anybody can guess which one it is. It's the one on the bottom right. That's what A's quirk training episode in a nutshell. Koda, Sato, Ida, Shoji, and Hagakure. Oh, okay. This pose right here, this actually reminds me of a certain character. The only thing that would make this more perfect is, I don't know. It reminds me of Dio. Oh, it reminds me of Dio. I think this is the first time that I did not find the camera. Probably. 3D ain't that bad after all. You know what? If this was 3D, yes, I would be all for this. If this is what they did, this would look good. Actually, I would approve. I would actually approve. Bakugo asking to hang out with his friends, be like, you're coming with me! That's pretty much what it would be. You would just shout at him and just drag him. Oh, that's basically Bakugo. 100%. Nobody. Me as soon as my order has been shipped. Yeah, like, that's the thing about me is if I order something online, I'm so anxious for it every day. I really am. Art's made by mentally ill people. Bakugo getting kissed by Uraraka. Oh, that's actually really funny. Mother, we'll talk at home. Before entering the house. Getting prepared for that talk. And then it turns out the talks is actually the big adult talk, if you know what I mean. Oh, that'd be great. Earrings for people who cry very easily. Oh, I guess Twitter, the Puritans on Twitter need these, man. They need them hard because they cry over everything. Average Boku no Hero fan. Yeah, I can see that. Average Boku no Pico enjoy. Oh, that's it. Oh, when Bakugo says he will surpass you and become number one, but then fails a provisional license exam. Oh, that's great. Oh, the Tom Cruise meme. Oh, man. People in real life arguing about men and women's sports. UA Sports Festival is a for everyone. Yeah, that's great. Oh, man. Dan is Broly. Oh, God. Deku would have the most badass father of all time if that was his dad. Oh, man. Oh, this is what happens when Broly has a kid. Oh, man. I'm not planning on being friends. Are you challenging me? Yeah, I was going to say, every shonen, it's like, I'm not going to have any friends. And then, like, the protagonist is like, are you challenging me? Yeah, I guess what it'd be like. My Hero Academia students in casual clothing. My Hero Academia students shirtless. And then you're just thinking, oh my. Oh, that's great. Texinio, I got two. One anime character you'd friend zone, even if they confessed to you and wanted to date you. Oh, I could tell you one right off the bat. Hinata Hyuga. Like, I'm serious. If she wanted to date me, I'd just friend zone her. Be like, nope. I know some people like Hinata, and that's fine if you do. There's nothing wrong with it, but like, I don't care for her at all. Like, that'd be one I'd just say no to. Anime characters you would adopt as your own kid. Probably Gon. He'd be a cool kid to adopt. I mean, like, I like Gon. He's cool. Him and Killua, he's cool too. I like them both. They're really cool characters. I'd adopt them. But yeah, good questions, man. Assault Shaker asks, hey Nick, here are some questions for the April Q&A. Have you seen the Beautiful Joe anime? If so, what do you think? I have. I'm more of a games fan, but I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, it's been many, many, many years since I've seen it though. But from what I remember, it actually wasn't that bad. Speaking of anime, I've been interested in watching the anime version of Cobra, but I can't find which versions I'd want to start first. Do you think I should watch Cobra the animation first, or Space Cobra, or do you have any other suggestions on what series of Cobra I should watch? Watch the 1982 version, the first version of it. That's what I'd watch. But because that's the original. That's back in the day. So that's what I'd watch if I were you. Are OVAs good to watch for a first timer? If so, which would you recommend? Well, OVAs tend to already be like after the show started. Usually there are some OVAs that aren't, but typically they're like specials for the show itself. So I'd say if you're gonna watch them after you've watched the show, and then watch the OVA, because that's kind of how it's meant to be. At least from what I've seen. I mean, there could be OVAs out there that I haven't been aware of that could actually be the start to a show. I mean, I don't know. I've typically seen OVAs that have been already after the show's aired, and it's been like a special or something. Like one of them being Steins Gate's OVA. Or in other words, known as the 24th episode. That was already after the series run, and then it's the additional episode. So, just that's an example. Would you recommend Yumi Nico When They Cry anime? I would, but first I would recommend that you watch Higurashi When They Cry, because they're actually related to one another. So I would watch Higurashi first, and then I'd watch Yumi Nico. And a follow-up question about anime, can you recommend any 12-episode anime series? Yes, you could watch Fooly Cooly, which is actually only 6 episodes. The first season, that is. Then, of course, you have a few more seasons. You could watch, the first season of Maria Holic, but you'd have to really be into anime to get that one, because it has a lot of otaku culture in it. So if you're not very fond of anime yet, if you're just getting into it, it'd be kind of harder to understand some of the jokes in it. So yeah, you could watch the first season of One Punch Man. Really, really good. Highly recommend it. But if there's one thing I definitely say, watch, One Punch Man, and then watch Hellsing Ultimate's also really good. I'd also recommend that. That one's really good too. But yeah, I think you would enjoy those. Have you seen the Shrek movie series? Yes, I have. I've seen all of them, in fact. They were really good. I also saw the Puss in Boots movie. Not bad. But yeah, no, I've seen them. Yep. Been a while though, but yeah, I've seen them. Can you recommend any Power Ranger shows and James Bond movies? Yes, I could definitely recommend you some James Bond movies for sure. I would definitely say like GoldenEye would be one of them. On Her Majesty's Secret Service, The Spy Who Loved Me, Goldfinger, definitely Goldfinger. Highly recommend that. The Living Daylights is not bad. From Russia with Love. Those are some I highly, highly, highly recommend you watch. Power Rangers, I haven't watched Power Rangers, good God, since the 90s. So I couldn't really recommend anything in terms of Power Rangers, so I do apologize there. Also, can Superman beat Wario Man? Yes, all Superman has to do is grab Wario while he's invincible, throw him into the future at the end of time, and then just leave him there and then go back. Yeah, Superman could beat him. That's how he beat Doomsday, in fact, so, yeah. But, yeah, good questions, man. Sonic X24 Cool ask, I got a question. If you were to change anything in RWBY, what would it be? Anything past Volume 3. Volume 4 and later, yeah. Oh, I would definitely change Volume 7. Just all of it. Just all of it. Like, Volume 7, Volume 8. There's like too many things for me to say I'd change. But, I mean, I'm serious. I would change, like, Adam. I would not let his story go the way it did. I would let him have a backstory. Let him be a good character, Like Cinder. Also, I'd make her better. Neo. I'd, not let her go through the shit she went through. There'd be a lot of things. There's just too many to count that I'd change. But, yeah. That's just me. Lancelot Gundam shows this, which is an Avengers Endgame poster, but with waifus. I'd watch this. I would watch this. I would watch this. Genuinely. I would watch this. Lancelot Gundam asks, what if Rex from Xenoblade Chronicles 2 did become Kamen Rider Vulcan and owns his cool form? By the way, it was Vulcan Lone Wolf form. Huh. I mean, that would be cool. I'm not one to really know much about Kamen Rider. Like, I know of Kamen Rider, but I've never watched it, so I can't really, like, tell you much because I don't have much knowledge on it. But I have been wanting to watch it. I've had it like on my list for a while. But yeah, it looks really cool. I think he'd probably be even more of a badass than he is now. But yeah. But anyways, I want to thank you all for all your questions. They were awesome as always. I do appreciate it, and I love answering them for you. You know, they're great. And I'm really sorry that this Q&A came out as late as it did. I'm already starting to work on the next one, so please be sure to leave your questions that you have for the May Q&A down. We'll be getting it out by hopefully the end of the month, if not the end of the month, early next month. I do assure you of that. So I do apologize for this taking so long, but thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today. And remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you, and have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.